Dude. Wait.
Everything is so much bigger in America. Look at this French fry. Look at this. The size of my head.
Oh my days. Get in! Bloody brilliant.
What is this?
No, like, when I get big, like, one of those stuff like
When they said the portions are big, I didn't know it was this big.
Have you ever wondered why international visitors, who are always so proud of the refined cuisine back home, can end up absolutely obsessed the moment they step into a fast food restaurant in America? From skeptical looks and dismissing it as junk food to being genuinely amazed and even hooked to the point where they don't want to leave a real taste, revolution is happening under the roofs of McDonald's and Five Guys. Why is the American version so irresistibly appealing? Why does the exact same brand, with the exact same name, taste so different in the United States that people feel like they've completed life after the very first bite? Let's break down the truth behind this phenomenon and see whether you've been missing something hidden in the fast food meals we see every day.
From McDonald's. And look at this.
I went to Taco Bell to get a regular meal, right? And then she gives me this.
Oh my god.
So that's a appetizer for the whole County.
Bit of cheese just when you're big.
What we have, got all the chips. Oh my goodness, so good. Ew, Sprite. Blue Sprite. I don't know why it's blue, but we'll see. Cheers.
That seems to be the common reaction among European visitors when they first arrive in the United States. To them, the idea of a medium size at our fast food chains almost feels like a joke, or rather, a challenge to the limits of the human stomach. A medium-sized soda in America could probably last their entire family for a month. But their surprise isn't just about the food. It's what people often call the bigger is better principle.
What? I asked a medium size.
That's medium.
Like a medium! My entire family can drink from here for 1 month.
It seems that, in the American mindset, the size of a meal is a measure of generosity. Do you remember the feeling of holding a cheeseburger stacked high with toppings, carefully wrapped like a gift from a long-established restaurant chain? That's how we define value. If you spend just a few extra cents to upgrade to a large size, you feel like you've won an economic bargain. Chains like McDonald's and Burger King understand this psychology perfectly. They aren't selling food, they're selling visual satisfaction, where the more the packaging bulges, the more customers feel like they're getting their money's worth. But let's take a quick look back at history, if you have a moment between all the headlines about inflation. After World War II, the United States emerged as a symbol of abundance. The industrialization of agriculture made food cheaper than ever before, and in doing so, we unintentionally created a new standard. Food should be plentiful, affordable, and fast. Did you know that our portion sizes have grown 2 to 3 times larger since the 1970s? Maybe that's why those Western visitors look at our meals with a mix of admiration and concern. They're used to smaller, more minimalist portions where quality matters more than struggling to finish a giant meal. Whether you like this lifestyle or not, there's no denying that oversized dining has become part of the American identity. It's just like the way we build massive pickup trucks or spacious homes, we like everything to be big. Even if it's just a quick meal on a busy day. Do you have a favorite fast food chain? Let us know in the comments. On the other side of the ocean, ordering another soda usually comes with a bill that makes you raise an eyebrow. Here, though, free refills seem almost like a constitutional right that we simply take for granted.
I can refill this 1,000 times.
Yeah, but you won't drink 1,000 cups of Coca-Cola.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. When you find out that America has free refills.
You see, this cultural privilege isn't just about sugary drinks. To us, it's freedom. To them, it's an unimaginable luxury. American fast food businesses, from major chains to roadside stops, have understood this strategy for a long time. With the cost of fountain soda being almost negligible, letting customers refill their drinks as much as they want isn't just brilliant marketing that keeps people coming back. It also creates the feeling of being spoiled without paying another cent. Then look at the sauce station. Do you remember grabbing a bucket of fried chicken from Popeyes or an order of fries and casually helping yourself to a few extra packets of ranch or honey mustard without anyone complaining? In many parts of the world, every tiny sauce packet is carefully counted and charged separately. In America, we pour sauce on everything. That's not just about adding flavor, it's food psychology. When you receive more than what you paid for, the perceived value of the meal seems to multiply. And when it comes to convenience, how could we leave out our gold standard? The drive-thru. While much of the world is still dealing with finding parking spaces or standing in long indoor lines, we simply pull into a lane, place an order, and receive our food in just a few minutes. Brands like Chick-fil-A have even taken this experience to another level, with employees walking right up to your car to take your order. That's not just customer service, it's the optimization of the fast-paced lifestyle we've become so accustomed to. You could say this is all about creating positive touchpoints. Maybe that's what people mean when they talk about the employee who smiles, hands you an empty cup, and says, "Help yourself." They're small details, but they create the welcoming image that defines American hospitality. American fast food may not be for people who prefer elaborate culinary sophistication. But when you're holding a burger in one hand, enjoying unlimited soda refills, and dipping everything into ranch sauce, you realize that sometimes a fun dining experience doesn't have to be expensive. Do you agree with us? Hit the subscribe button if the answer is yes. You've probably heard plenty of international visitors dismiss American food as junk food, haven't you? They may think all we know is fast, industrialized food with no real craftsmanship behind it. But watch their reaction when they actually take their first bite of biscuits and gravy. That skeptical expression they had about a gravy that didn't exactly look appealing quickly disappears, replaced by amazement at the rich, comforting flavor that's hard to find anywhere else.
Now, do you want to try something? I want to say no.
The thing is, I had to agree. No.
Tea. So we call this bread in the UK.
It seems those old stereotypes about fast food are falling apart right before our eyes. It's not just about grabbing enough calories to get through the day. When you try brisket from an authentic Texas barbecue joint, prepared using the traditional low and slow smoking method, you'll realize the difference lies in patience. The tender, melt-in-your-mouth texture isn't the product of industrial machinery, it's the result of genuine expertise and respect for the ingredients.
Damn. First time. Welcome to barbecue. No, that's actually good. That's pretty good. Good.
He gave me a free brisket, which is good. That's so tender, man.
Or take a look at the pizza-style chicken parmesan at the Cheesecake Factory. The line between traditional dishes is almost erased, creating an explosion of flavors that many would call the freedom of American cuisine.
Mine might not have been as pretty as Elliot's, but it was good as expected. The chicken is always tender, always crispy, even with the sauce on top, and the Alfredo is on.
It's a little ironic that visitors who are so proud of their own long-standing culinary traditions end up becoming addicted to the signature sauces at Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's. Those sauces may sound simple, but they're the soul of the meal, transforming ordinary food into an experience that leaves people nodding in approval.
Oh, good. That is good.
There's a sophistication to the seasoning that American restaurant chains may have calculated better than anyone else. It's the balance of salty, sweet, and rich flavors, a formula that fast casual restaurants are using to redefine what fast food can be. Today's consumers demand higher quality ingredients, even in their most convenient meals. And platforms like TikTok are simply the catalyst, making every visitor to America feel like they have to try these foods unless they want to feel like they never truly experienced the country. Maybe fusion cuisine, our bold approach to combining flavors and traditions, is exactly what's enriching the global food scene. When visitors who once insisted on strict culinary traditions back home admit they've completed life after trying an order of wings at Wingstop, maybe it's time for us to smile. There's an interesting truth. Even if you try an order of Wingstop wings in London or Sydney, the moment you arrive in America, you'll realize it just tastes different. Maybe it's not just your imagination, but a culinary race in which the international versions always seem to fall behind right at the starting line. When a visitor walks into a McDonald's or any global fast food chain in the United States, they're often looking for something that simply feels higher in quality. Maybe the flavors are bolder, the ingredients taste fresher, or maybe they're simply served with greater generosity. Could it be because our supply chain is so much stronger? Having a massive domestic supply network means food can travel from farm to table much faster than what international locations have to deal with. When your ingredients don't have to travel halfway around the world, freshness is an undeniable advantage. And the way we make our sauces is different too. In the domestic market, seasoning recipes seem to be turned up to an entirely different level, saltier, bolder, and sometimes more adventurous, while international versions often have to tone things down to comply with stricter local regulations on sugar, additives, and other ingredients. It's a little ironic that those very safety regulations can unintentionally dilute the original flavors customers are expecting. A premium Wingstop box in America isn't just packaging for chicken, it's a promise of quality. It retains heat better and looks far more professional than the standard packaging used overseas. The food industry always faces a difficult challenge. How do you preserve authenticity while expanding globally? Some compromise seems unavoidable. When these chains have to adjust their recipes to satisfy local tastes, they end up creating a version instead of preserving the original. Ironically, that difference pushes visitors into a unique psychological state. They begin to idealize the flavors they experience in America. Maybe when international visitors walk out of the restaurant, they're not just carrying a meal with them, they're carrying an experience. They realize that no matter how hard these brands try to replicate it elsewhere, there's something uniquely American in the way the restaurants operate, in the generosity with the sauces, and in the bold confidence of the flavors that no other market can perfectly duplicate. Are you proud of your country's food? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Fast food used to be nothing more than a lifesaver on busy days. But let's face the truth. That convenience comes with a significant cost. According to numerous reports, obesity in America is no longer an issue that affects only a few people, and the connection between eating out frequently and chronic diseases such as diabetes and heart disease has become increasingly clear. To be honest, fast food isn't just food, it's engineered to be tempting. The combination of sugar, salt, and fat in these meals appears to be carefully designed to stimulate the brain's reward system, creating immediate satisfaction. But what's the price we pay? When you look at the concept of food deserts, places where cheap processed food is easier to find than a bundle of fresh vegetables, you begin to see an unhealthy cycle that many of us may unknowingly become trapped in. Analysts have repeatedly warned about the hidden costs of this lifestyle. Not just the few dollars you spend at the counter, but the enormous burden placed on the public healthcare system that future generations may ultimately have to carry. It seems we're caught in an endless collision between convenience and sustainability. Home cooking, a skill we once considered basic, is gradually becoming a luxury in a society where time is the most valuable resource. Younger generations may be losing their connection to where food comes from, when, to them, cooking simply means tapping a button on a mobile app. But perhaps the surprise international visitors express toward our lifestyle serves as a necessary mirror. While they're amazed by the generosity of our portion sizes, they're also unintentionally pointing out the downside that many of us have become so accustomed to that we barely notice it anymore. Maybe it's time for us to find a better balance. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to hit subscribe to support the channel. In a market where there's a fast food restaurant every few blocks, how do brands not only survive, but continue to thrive? The American market, if we were to compare it to something, is a red ocean filled with sharks fighting over every last bit of market share. Here, businesses don't compete on price alone because cheap food is everywhere. They compete on identity. Five Guys is one of the best examples. While the rest of the fast food industry races to optimize costs with industrial freezers, they chose what seems like the opposite approach, using only fresh ingredients. Do you see the difference? They aren't selling you an industrial burger, they're selling you the confidence that what you're eating didn't come out of a machine. Then, there's personalization, the strategic weapon that Chipotle has turned into an art form. When you stand at the counter pointing to each ingredient you want in your burrito, you're not just buying food, you're exercising control. That's the respect the brand gives you. Want extra sauce? No problem. Want to leave out the onions? That's fine too. Letting you design your own meal doesn't just reduce food waste, a constant challenge for fixed menu chains, it also creates an invisible bond. You feel like you own that meal instead of being just another passive customer in a production line. It seems that in this brutal business world, the strategy of differentiate or die is still as true as ever. If you can't create a unique value proposition, sooner or later you'll disappear into the crowd. Just look at Raising Cane's. They don't simply sell fried chicken, they sell generosity through those overflowing cups of signature sauce. That iconic detail, something that's hard to find anywhere else, has become the soul of the brand. It's the perfect combination of large-scale operations and an emotionally personal customer experience. Of course, maintaining consistency across thousands of locations is a challenge not meant for the faint of heart. But the companies that succeed are masters at balancing the precision of machines with the subtle touch of human hands. They use customer data to understand what you want while preserving the handmade feel that makes you comfortable, as if you were eating at home. In the end, perhaps the biggest lesson isn't about sweeping industry changes or flashy technology. The real difference usually lies in the smallest details that make you feel like you're the center of the experience. In a market where everyone is trying to make everything faster and cheaper, having a place that understands what you want and serves it exactly the way you want, it may be the real key to keeping customers like you coming back. Why do international visitors suddenly forget all the strict dieting rules they follow back home the moment they arrive in America? Maybe a vacation isn't just time to relax, it's also the perfect excuse to indulge. Standing in front of an overflowing meal at Five Guys or a massive burrito at Chipotle, they suddenly stop worrying about calories or health metrics. They're looking for immediate gratification, that irresistible feeling of satisfaction that comes from tasting foods with bold, explosive flavors, specifically designed to overwhelm every defense of reason. And you know what? Platforms like TikTok and YouTube have turned this into an exciting kind of challenge. Lists of must-try foods, from limited-time menu items to authentic Texas barbecue, have transformed every meal into another achievement to unlock. When you hear a visitor say they've completed life after finishing a meal at Raising Cane's, you might find it a little ironic but also completely understandable. They're not just eating, they're collecting experiences. Once they've tasted the authentic American version, the international locations back home suddenly feel bland and incomplete. Food is no longer just a secondary part of the trip, it's become the main reason they pack a suitcase and travel. They're searching for an experience ecosystem that only America seems able to offer. Unlimited drink refills, unbelievably convenient drive-thrus, and the unique charm of those oversized portions that are anything but modest. Maybe that very imperfection is what makes it so appealing. In a world filled with strict standards, the complete freedom found in American fast food restaurants feels like the kind of mental escape that even we sometimes crave. They don't want to leave, not because they can't, but because they've fallen in love with a world where everything is bigger, bolder, and always more willing to spoil them than anywhere else. After they return home, many experience what's often called post-trip syndrome. They try to recreate those same flavors back home, only to realize they're getting pale imitations, and before long, they're quietly planning a second trip, then a third. Maybe that's the sweetest victory of the American service industry, turning passing visitors into loyal customers who always carry a desire to come back and try the menu items they didn't have time to experience. Whether you call it emotional addiction or simply the signature hospitality of this country, there's no denying that we've created something people find hard to leave behind. Are you proud that even the toughest critics eventually admit they love American food? Let us know in the comments below. In the end, no matter how many debates there are about nutrition or how often people dismiss it as just fast food, it's hard to deny the irresistible appeal these brands have for anyone who visits the United States. It's not just about satisfying your hunger. It's the combination of service, convenience taken to the point of indulgence, and a signature sense of generosity, a miniature version of the American dream. Wrapped up in a takeout box, the reality is that experiencing something new, even if it's as simple as a burger or a basket of fried chicken from a well-known chain, often becomes an essential part of making a trip truly memorable. It reminds us that sometimes the freedom to choose and to indulge yourself is the greatest ingredient of any journey. What about you? What's the quintessential American food you always look forward to enjoying whenever you return to or visit the United States? Is there a particular brand you feel your trip wouldn't be complete without? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Note: this video is compiled from public shares, reactions, and experiences of many international tourists, combined with the channel's analysis and commentary. The opinions mentioned reflect the perspectives and experiences of individuals, not representing everyone or an entire nation. The purpose of the video is to share perspectives, encourage civilized exchanges, and explore cultural differences based on real experiences. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can continue exploring more fascinating perspectives on American culture and life with us in our upcoming videos.